We are very much delighted to be joined here in the studio by Dr. Ahmad Farrag, our journalist and academic. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Sir, indeed, Egypt is taking part in the G20 summit taking place in Johannesburg, the first time a G20 summit to take place on an African soil. How do you see the significance of such an event taking place in Johannesburg?
As we know, the summit is held under some global circumstances, either political or economic. As we know that the African Union is always demanding that the advanced countries to help the developing economies combat the climate change and provide more finances to such countries in lending. I mean, how the developing countries can secure their financial needs from the international financial institutions. Also, we need that there are some countries in Africa that are members in the BRICS group, like Egypt and South Africa.
And Brazil?
Brazil, yes. Of course, such summit will help the leaders of those countries coordinate their efforts to get benefit from the momentum, the current momentum acquired by the emerging markets in the global economic landscape.
Indeed. Sir, indeed, we have witnessed to the speech, listened to the speech by Prime Minister Madbouli on behalf of President Abdel Fattah Sisi a few minutes ago. He talked about the importance of such a cooperation, and we did see on the sidelines of the summit also the Prime Minister having meetings with the representatives of many companies and think tanks and research institutions in South Africa. So how do you see here the level of importance of such cooperation between Egypt and the African countries in general and South African companies in particular regarding the trade and exchange of expertise and the change of experiences regarding think tanks and trade and economic development?
As we know, South Africa is one of the most industrial countries in the continent, like Egypt. And when we say South Africa in manufacturing, we say also Egypt. So both Egypt and South Africa need to coordinate efforts and they need to exchange views about the plans of economic developments, and they need to exchange views about the best way to attract investments and the incentives and facilities that can be offered by each country to attract the investors from the other country. And as we know, in Al-Sukari mine here, there is And South Africa is famous for the mining corporations. And today we learned that Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting with a prominent official of one of the big mining companies that can contribute to the works and projects in Al Sukari mine here in Egypt. So, of course, both the two countries, because they are, I think, and this is according to you, they are the most advanced countries in the continent, I mean Egypt and South. So they need to exchange and collaborate in different spheres for the best of the interest of the two countries.
Indeed, sir, we have to talk here about also the meetings held by the Prime Minister with 40 major companies and think tanks in South Africa. And as you have kindly mentioned, that we are talking about two major economies in Africa which are exchanging cooperation and maybe increasing the level of cooperation to a higher level. What's your expectation after these meetings by the Prime Minister regarding the future of cooperation between Egypt and South Africa in many fields? And also the Prime Minister did meet, as you have kindly mentioned, with the officials from Anglo Gold Ashanti for their working and investment opportunities in the Sukari gold mine.
I expect that in the coming period, inshallah, there will be lots of African investors who will be interested in investing in the promising sectors in Egypt, like mining, manufacturing, tourism, agriculture, etc. And also I expect that Egypt will, I mean the government, will provide lots of incentives and facilitations to attract those investors. And we might see that a certain committee or a panel can be created to, for example, to coordinate the efforts exerted to attract more investors and provide lots of incentives to them.
Indeed, we have to mention here that the world's largest economies are not participating in the G20 summit. We have seen a boycott from the US president. Also, China is not participating. How do you see the impact of such moves on the G20 summits?
As I read, President Donald Trump boycotted the summit because he accused that the government of South Africa is discriminating yes, the white people, and he's not convinced by the argues that the advanced or the developed countries are responsible for the climatic change all over the world. So he announced that the United States will not take part in such a summit. I think that there is a political dimension in such boycott.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes, and back to the speech by the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and indeed he did talk about the Gaza crisis and the importance of the agreement of Sharm el-Sheikh and how he is hailing the adoption of the resolution by the UN Security Council that took place on the 17th of November. What's your take on that, sir? And also the Prime Minister talked about Egypt hosting a summit for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip after the complete end of the aggression. So how do you see the importance of raising such a topic in the G20?
Yeah, this can be seen as part of the continuous efforts exerted by Egypt to defend and to maintain the rights of the Palestinian people, and we always see that whenever there is a certain diplomatic meeting and Egypt raises the Palestinian cause and attempts to mobilize the global support, especially because in the coming period the government is planning to hold an international conference to secure the financial resources needed to rebuild Gaza. Of course, such plan needs global support, and the African support is part of such efforts.
Yes. Back to the G20 summit and Egypt's participation, and what do we expect here from the participation of Egypt in the G20 summit taking place for the first time in Johannesburg on an African soil? What should be the outcome from such a very important meeting with the participation of most of the world leaders?
We anticipate that, or we hope that such summit would be able to help the developing countries accessing a cheap and low-cost financing from the financial institutions. And also we hope that the advanced countries or the developed countries would provide financing to eliminate the negative impact of climatic change, because actually the industrial countries are responsible for the most or the majority of the pollution we see in the world. So they should provide something. At least they should help the developing countries.
Ideologies adopted by the West and the rejection to contribute as developed countries for more contribution in order to reduce the negative repercussions on the developing countries, how that could be repaired. And we have seen also the COP30 was taking place in Brazil as well. How do you see the outcomes of such meetings and global summits on the climate change, and how we can actually reduce such threats by the help of the developed countries?
Actually, the international community, through the advanced countries, to help the underdeveloped world combat the sequences of the climatic change. Because even if we keep demanding that the advanced countries should contribute financially or through launching certain initiatives without enforcing them through bodies like the UN and the World Bank, etc., they will not offer anything as we see.
Also, the Prime Minister talked about cooperation with South Africa and other major economies like Nigeria as well to increase the level of economic integration and continental integration among the different African states. How that could be achieved from your point of view, Dr. Farrag, and what are still the obstacles that need to be hindered in order to achieve the level of cooperation that we desire?
From my own point of view, the African countries should find a way to collaborate in the commercial and investing field by formulating, for example, free trade agreement and eliminate the trade tariffs between the countries. And encourage, for example, the joint ventures between African countries, and also find a way to not to de-dollarization. I mean, to get rid of using the dollar, the US dollars, and finalizing the commercial transactions between the African countries, and so on.
Yes. So these challenges, from your point of view, finally, Dr. Farrag, to wrap up, because we are running out of time, could be actually achieved. We can witness more economic integration, more cooperation between the African states and developing countries as well.
Yes, in the coming period, and we expect that we will see lots of collaboration among the African countries, lots of bilateral trade agreements between, and also we expect that the African Union will practice, will try to harmonize the relationship between the African countries in the interest of their people.
Indeed. Dr. Ahmad Farrag, our journalist and academic, thank you so much, sir, for your precious input and for being our guest for today. Thank you so much. And we leave you, our viewers, with this report where Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli viewed cooperation with South Africa and other major sisterly countries on the continent, such as Nigeria, as means to achieve the continental integration. This comes as the Prime Minister met representatives of 40 major companies, think tanks and research institutions on the sidelines of the Prime Minister participation on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the G20 summit in Johannesburg. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli met representatives of 40 major companies, think tanks and research institutions in South Africa, in presence of Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Expatriates Badr Abdelati, on the sidelines of his participation in the G20 summit. The Prime Minister welcomed representatives of the South African business community and pointed out the investment opportunities and the business atmosphere in Egypt. He viewed cooperation with South Africa and other major sisterly countries on the continent, such as Nigeria, as a means to achieve continental integration. Madbouli added that Egypt seeks cooperation and integration, not competition, with any other country, highlighting the success of the Egyptian government in achieving its economic reform agenda and targets, and growing inflows of foreign direct investments over the past years, despite the negative economic repercussions due to regional and international crises. Prime Minister Madbouli reviewed the government efforts for economic reform and infrastructure development, which reflected positively on improving the macroeconomic indicators. In addition, the Prime Minister met officials of Anglo Gold Ashanti ahead of his participation in the 2025 Group of 20 Summit in South Africa. In the meeting, Madbouli expressed keen interest in boosting bilateral cooperation with the latter contribution in investments in El Sukkari gold mine. The Prime Minister detailed the meeting on the business atmosphere in Egypt and welcomed representatives of the South African business community.